When kids move out, expenses change fast. Grocery bills drop, activity costs disappear, insurance may shift. But parents often keep spending the same way out of habit. The empty nest isn't just a life transition, it's also a budget transition that offers the opportunity to realign your money with this next chapter. And we have Lawrence Sprung of Midland Financial joining us today to talk all about it. Lawrence, when kids fly the nest, how much of a change are we looking at here in terms of budget?
Yeah, things change significantly. Raising a child through just the age of 17 costs the average US family over $230,000, and that does not include college. So when those expenses start winding down, monthly cash flow usually improves significantly, and there are some big changes to the household.
Certainly. And for many of those folks, budgeting helped to get where they are and raise those children that have just flown the nest. But why is it so important to look at it again after things have eased up financially? Typically, you'd kind of feel like you can be a little more free and maybe you don't need a budget.
Yeah, it's a big change, and lifestyle habits don't automatically adjust when the kids leave the nest. And what happens is, and what you see are many households continue spending at the same family level even after their children leave. And without intentionally resetting your budget, extra cash can quietly get absorbed and spent instead of redirected towards savings or new goals. So it's really important that you take a look at the budget and reset it now that your family dynamic has changed a bit.
So that feeling of relief and ease might be a nice short-term payoff, but in the long run, you could be missing out on some of those bigger goals that you might have in mind for your retirement, say. What kinds of benefits might people not be thinking of about how they can leverage their this time financially?
Yeah, so now that they have this extra cash flow because they don't have to spend necessarily on the kids and they move out, and some of your biggest monthly expenses disappear, this really creates breathing room for you. And if you intentionally look at that budget and even redirect part of it towards retirement, those years can make a meaningful difference. For example, this year, a 401k contribution can max out at $24,500. If you're over the age of 50, you can add another $8,000 on top of that. And if you're age 60 to 63, you can add an additional $11,250 on the 24,500 that I mentioned earlier. So if you can reimagine your budget and find some additional capital to allocate to these areas, it could really set you up for success as you enter these final years leading up to retirement.
And I know your business, Midland Financial, has a focus on joy and working that into financial plans. How would you advise people to lean into that with their empty nest budgeting?
Yeah, so one of the things you don't have to do is not all of that extra money in your budget has to go towards retirement unless you're significantly behind, but spending can really shift towards your joy. We see travel and charitable giving tend to increase in the pre-retirement years as these priorities shift. And, aligning spending with values tends to lead to higher life satisfaction than just spending by default. It's not just about spending, it's about spending differently and finding that joy for you and your family.
Okay, first steps for people who may not want to get back into budgeting all over again. What's an easy way to get started?
Yeah, so this phase isn't about shifting shrinking your life. It's really about redirecting resources towards what matters now. So I think it's a matter of taking a look at that budget and really understanding as a family or as a couple what matters most now, whether that's travel, hobbies, helping adult children strategically, or simply building more long-term security. So this gives you a unique opportunity because your spending goes down just naturally, and it's a time to reevaluate and direct those resources to their most pressing areas, or most important areas to you, I should say.
Great advice. Once again, thank you so much, Lawrence Sprung.